All right, everyone. Welcome back to DBTalks Football Podcast. Today, we're going to be reacting to one of Barca's craziest games this season. It was a 5-3 away win at Real Betis. And just there was a lot of stakes before this game. Obviously, Barcelona were trying to stay top of La Liga. And after this game, they are on 40 points after 16 games. So they're pretty much 4 points clear of Real Madrid with the game being played ahead. So Real Madrid do have a game in hand. So let's see how they do in their upcoming game. But even before this game, like Betis were a really good team in La Liga. They were coming in this game unbeaten in eight, and they also beat Sevilla recently. So this wasn't supposed to be like an easy game away at their stadium. But the main highlights for me were of course, Ferran hat trick, Rooney's La Liga goal, and then Yamal scored his pen from the spots. And there was a bit controversial, but we'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, you want to talk about the lineups, Prajesh?
Yeah, sure. So, keeper was Joan Garcia as always, but we did see, I think, at the end of the game, like, he was kind of limping after the game, so we're not sure if he's injured or not. We'll see what happens with that. I think he's fine though, hopefully, because Tuesday is the UCL game with Frankfurt. Yeah, he started. I think he had some good saves, but Barca did concede 3 goals. I think it was bad defending mistakes as well. The back line, so yeah, left back Balde. Balde's. I think Balde had a good game. I think it was solid, I guess, but he did kind of get subbed off early, so at halftime. So I think in the first half, I think Barca played well, and I think he was also doing good. And then left center back, so we see Drought again play left center back. I think he was like I mean, nothing too crazy today, but I think he had some few good moments. And then right center back Kubarsi. And kind of said with Barça, I don't think he was outstanding or anything. He had some good moments, but I think some of the goals were also goals conceded were sometimes like his mistake as well. And then right back Koundé. Koundé had an interesting game. He obviously got the assist for the first goal, the first Ferran goal, the cross. He crossed it in the kind of the low cross at the box of Ferran. And he has some good moments, but even defensively, he sometimes struggled. But also, he had some good defending moments as well, where he won the duel. And then double pivot again. We saw Pedri and Eric. So De Jong didn't play this game. He didn't start. I mean, he got subbed on later, but he didn't start. So I've seen Pedri and Eric. I think Pedri was phenomenal today. We'll talk more about him later, I'm sure. I think Pedri was phenomenal. I think Eric also was pretty solid today as well. So the wingers, or front four. So starting with the striker. So obviously Ferran Torres, we know he got a hat trick. He was 3 crucial goals in the first half. I think second half he's looked kind of more dead, but the first half he was definitely amazing. Left winger Rashford. So yeah, I mean Rashford is like, I think Rashford had good moments where he was like good dribbling and like being the players, but his finishing I think was not that great today. He missed that one-on-one chance at the end of the game, which would have just made Barca a bit more secure. Even though Barca had a good lead, it's always good to score goals, and he missed a clear one-on-one chance with the keeper. So I think he needs to improve his finishing, steal those games. And right winger, we saw Roony get a start, which was kind of surprising because Roony doesn't really play much. He usually gets subbed on for a few minutes, but he actually started. And I think Roony was amazing when he played. He obviously got the goal, as you mentioned, his first Barca LaLiga goal, or his first Barca goal, that not including the preseason. This is his first Barca goal. It was a great finish, great celebration, and great game overall from him. And with the 10, so we didn't see Rafinha play because he had like a muscle overload. So Flick kind of want to play it safe and not play him to get him to prevent injury, because Barca have an important game on Tuesday in the UCL. And Almo got injured last game. We talked about him with the shoulder, dislocated shoulder. And Fermin was back from injury, but obviously Flick doesn't really like starting players who just come back from injury, so he gave Fermin minutes later on. But we saw actually Lamine Yamal hit the 10 roll, which is very interesting, and it's something that a lot of fans wanted to see. And I think Lamine Yamal had an incredible game today, like a masterclass. I think he took on that role so well. We'll probably talk more about it later, but he was amazing today. And I mean, yeah, that was the starting lineup.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, like, specifically for this lineup today, I think Flick did try something new with our overall system and attack. I think it was really interesting to see Yamal play at the 10 position, because we haven't really seen him like have that much freedom and play like that under Flick as much. And I think because how many players Lamine Yamal attracts himself when he's dribbling and stuff, I think it just opens up a lot of space for the other wingers and even Ferran Torres when he's making runs in behind. So I think yeah, that was really interesting. I think this could be something that could be used a lot more by Hansi Flick because games were like almost missing. Firmino just came back from injury. I think this could be interesting to see. Even like a Gala lineup with like Rafinha on the right instead of Rooney. I think that could also work, like having Rafinha in his natural right winger position, and then Rashford and Ferran Torres and Yamal at the 10. And with Yamal and Rafinha also like rotating, I think that could also be interesting to see. But yeah, you mentioned like Pedri. I think he had a great game. Speaking on the subs, I think Christensen when he came on for Balde, I think he had a pretty good half. I think he was pretty decent. De Jong obviously came on, but one of my standouts today was Mark Bernal. I think he had a great cameo. I think he just came on and like had controlled the ball, had some good like plays, had some good passing and some good dribbling. And coincidentally, like today was the day where Jordi Alba and Busquets had their final game in football. So kind of coincident that like the day Busquets is retiring, Bernal had a pretty good cameo. And Fermin Lopez, I think honestly, I didn't like his like performance. Obviously, he's coming back from injury, but I think he was a bit wasteful today. I think he could have done a lot better. Obviously, like the level we know Fermin can play at is much better than this. So yeah, just pretty disappointing from Fermin. And Torrens came on for like 10 minutes. I think he just did a decent job for what he had to do. But also, I just wanted to mention Jared Martin. I think how solid he's been, like as a left-footed center back. Um, just like how good he is, like consistently. I think it's gonna be really good for Flick to use him in like more games. I think that's really interesting. But yeah, moving on, like to onto Betis's lineup, I think the most interesting players were obviously Abde, who was ex-Barca. I remember watching him a couple of years ago with like players like Jukla playing as striker. So yeah, a big flashback for us. And of course, Anthony. I think obviously we know like even in La Liga, he's just been really good, impressive. And then obviously, I don't know if you saw this, but the right back for Betis, Rui Ball, I think he gave me flashes of Inigo, like just the way he looked. I don't know why. He looked like a cousin of Inigo, but ignoring that, let's move on to the
Even
first half itself.
Mark
Oh
Bartra
yeah,
was
Mark
ex
Bartra.
Barca.
Yeah.
Maybe you had that
Also
controversial pen. His
Purple.
brother controversial pen.
Yeah, and also Purple came on. He's also ex-Barca, so a couple connections in this game. And also, yeah, just let's move on to the first half. So I guess the first goal we saw from Anthony, I think it was honestly we just disappointing. Like the backline just switched off for a second, and we saw Anthony get like an open goal. I mean, open like space and just score. I think that was honestly like a bad like defender. I thought that was offside, but Kunde just leaves him on. So I think again bad positioning from Kunde overall. But I think it's the same issue where we concede really early, like for the sixth time in La Liga, I believe, this season. So I think yeah, that's a big issue. I think Flick needs to like fix that because we have been conceding a lot very early. But then our response, I think this was one of our best halves to be honest in the season. We saw Ferran get a brace like in 2 minutes, in a span of 2 minutes. So really impressive. And we mentioned like Rooney. I think he was really involved in the first three goals. Obviously for this one, he played like the first goal. He obviously played like a good through ball to Kunde, and with Kunde had a low cross, and Ferran just put like a nice striker's finishing touch in the goal. Then the second goal, I think this was really impressive. I think Rooney really like skins his man on the right side, then puts a cross in, and Ferran Torres with a really good volley. Obviously, it's kind of central. Like the goalkeeper might like should maybe save that, but I think overall that play was really good. I think overall this game, Rooney's creativity was really like impressive on the right side, and obviously the third goal, I think this was one of the best goals of the game. I think yeah, Rooney just played in by Pedri, and then he just cuts in with his right foot, and then great near post finish with his right foot. I think honestly this is going to be a huge confidence booster because we have seen like Rooney not play for a while in this lineup. I think like he's just been missing. I think Flick hasn't really used him, but I think this game he is so good. I think he's going to be a real option for Flick to use in the future. And then just to cap off this great half, I think we saw that Ferran get his hat trick goal. Obviously, it was a bit of a deflection, and it deflected off Mark Bartra. I think Loki was a spy for us, kind of playing for both sides. But I think yeah, overall this half was really good. If you want to talk about the second half.
Yeah, the second half, I think, like you mentioned, the first half was probably one of the best halves this season. I think the second half was not that great. I mean, it kind of died the momentum. I think the first half was so good. The second half it wasn't as impressive. I think there's definitely a lot of good moments. Like I think, with Pedri until he got subbed off, I think he was very good. I think Lamine Yamal was also really very good with again with the talk about the 10 position. He made some very good like dribbles. Brought the ball up very well. Beat a lot of the Betis defenders. I guess the concern I had for the second half was that he played the whole game, which I mean, obviously he's gonna have to get used to that in the future. But he's still very young, and we have to kind of know like he can't be overworked. So because like you see a lot of Barca players getting injured now, and if he gets injured, it'll be a very big. It hurt Barca a lot. So I just think his minutes can probably be controlled better because I don't think Batiste would have really had a chance to come back, even though the score was close at the end. I think even if Lamine was subbed off, I think Barca still win the game. Yeah, there's that. And then I mentioned a lot of the subs coming on, and then in the in the second half, we also had the controversial pen where like the I forgot who exactly shot the ball. I think it was Rashford. Yeah, Rashford shot the ball, and then it hit Bartra's like knee, but then it also deflected and hit his hand. And yeah, we both were talking about it, and we were like, it's not really a pen, like, cause you know the rule that like if it deflects another body part and then the hand, usually it's not given as a pen. But for some reason, the ref was like checking in VAR, and it actually was given. So, I mean, it was just weird. I think I kind of felt bad because it's not. If it was the other way around, if Barca conceded a pen like that, it would have been like unfair. So I can definitely understand Batista's frustration because it was very unfair for them to like I guess it was unfair for the pen to be given. But anyways, it was taken. Lamine took it as Lewandowski wasn't on and Rafinha wasn't on, so he was the pen taker after that, and then he scored it, and he celebrated. And I mean, I don't know. For second half, I don't have too much to say. I think besides like certain good cameos, like I said, Bernal. I think Bernal when he was on was very good. So definitely better than his last game. And I think Bernal is definitely like a player who, off the bench, he gives you some very good performances. So hopefully see more of him. And I mean, Young, I think it was okay. I know that a lot of people don't like, a lot of people in the fan base don't like De Jong. But they were mentioning how like as soon as De Jong came on, Barca started kind of losing the game. I don't think it was De Jong's fault at all. I think it was more of the defensive fault because we did see Barca concede 2 more goals, one from a corner, which was poor defending, I think. And then second was, and we also saw Barca concede a pen as well where Koundé fouled. I forgot who exactly he fouled, but he fouled a Betis player in the box. I think it was a very dumb
It
challenge.
was Abde, our ex
Oh, the
Barca.
Abde, yeah. Oh, yeah, Abde, yeah, okay, yeah. So he fouled Abde. I think it was a very dumb challenge on Koundé's end. I don't know what he's thinking there. He got a yellow off it and he conceded a pen and they converted. So, yeah, I think that was just a very bad decision from Koundé. So, and we know, I don't know, I feel like with Barca defenders, like a lot of bad decision making. So I think that needs to be fixed for sure. So, second half, I think it's just dying. Like, the game is kind of getting lost from Barca, but Barca's still able to get the win due to how good the first half performance was with all the goals scored. So, yeah, Barca got the win. So I guess that's what matters. And I think the team overall played pretty well. And I think the players itself played well. And yeah.
Yeah, I do think after that controversial pen, I think our players kind of fell off. Like they already thought like we're easily winning this game, so like our level can drop off a bit. And obviously, like their Betis players and the fans, I think they started getting riled up and frustrated because of how controversial that was. So I think they started like stepping up their game, but near the end of the game, and obviously, yeah, poor corner defending, and we conceded. We conceded, making 5-2. And then obviously that pen, I think another poor decision from Kunde. I don't know, like yeah, he like honestly first half he's really solid, but second half I think the whole defense kind of fell off. Obviously Martin came off, Balde came off, so I think just the overall level of the team kind of fell off in the second half. And honestly, this game we could have scored like 8 goals, but I think yeah we were like really not clinical enough. But yeah, I guess you mentioned like the most important thing was to win, especially away to Real Betis. So really important win for Barca. Obviously, right now we have 40 points, and hopefully our lead stays to 4 points. Hopefully Madrid do drop points tomorrow. And obviously, right now. Do you want to give your man of the match and any concerns you have for the next few games?
Yeah, sure. So, And with the man of match, I'm kind of torn apart because I think the three main contenders for me are Ferran, Pedri, and Lamine Yamal. Ferran obviously got a hat trick, which was very crucial in the game. So obviously, but the thing is, like second half, I think he didn't do as much. He also missed a chance, one of the keep, kind of one of the keeper. So I mean, and he did the Liga MVP, but I think like the game itself, I think Lamine and Pedri dictated and controlled the game, and like everything ran through them. Pedri got 2 assists. Lamine Yamal got he got pen goal, and I'm not he didn't. And so I don't know. I'm not really sure. I think I'd probably give it a bit to like Lamine Yamal because I think Lamine was just very good and he took the role on so well. But I wouldn't be opposed to giving it to either Pedri or Fran either. I think they both were also like very crucial to his game. Pedri I think has had some amazing moments. Like I don't know, it's just he is so insane. I remember that one play where he got the ball off the Betis player in the Barca box. I don't remember that. He kind of got kind of chipped over and then just ran through the defenders kind of. He made some great passes as well. He assisted the Roony goal, which was and the Fran's third goal. So yeah, I mean I think between those two. But if I had to give like one article, Lamine Yamal and a concern. So yeah, Barca play Frankfurt in the UCL, so it's a kind of must-win game because Barca are pretty low. They're 18th, and Barca need to try to fight for top 8. And I guess kind of like a rival watch thing. Frankfurt actually lost their game in the Bundesliga today, 6-0 to Leipzig. So I mean, yeah, but Frankfurt don't look in good form in the UCL or Bundesliga. So Barca should take advantage, obviously. But I think the concern is obviously the defense. I think the defense is the biggest concern right now. I mean, I think the attack has been improving, especially with with Rafinha, but even today, like Lamine Yamal playing as a 10 and Rooney stepping up. So the attack isn't much of a concern because earlier in the season with like the big games like Madrid and PSG, and even Chelsea, the attack was doing nothing. But now the attack's slightly like getting it together and like scoring a lot of goals. So I'm not too concerned about the attack. I'm more concerned about defense. Obviously, you mentioned they conceded so early against Antony, and the defense shut off. And conceding a corner like that and a pen is just not smart. So yeah, I just cannot. The defense is mainly the issue, but I think Barca will be good enough to win that game comfortably. Hopefully I don't jinx it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, my man of the match contenders would be between Rooney and Pedri. Obviously, Lamine Yamal is really an honorable mention because I think the way he just opened up the space for everyone else and how involved he was, I think it was really good. But yeah, I think Rooney, just the performance he had, like especially after not playing for so long in the starting lineup, I think always in like the training pictures, he's always involving the winning team, and today you can just see why because I think the way he played on the right side, a great finish by him, and his overall like being involved in play, I think he was really important. But my man of the match honestly go to Pedri. I think he could have had like a hat trick of assists. I think just the way he glides across the pitch and takes control of all our tempo and all our games. I think it's just really important. And yeah, my man of the match would be Pedri. I think going forward, I think obviously we need to win in the UCL. I think we have been dropping a lot of points in there, but I think against Frankfurt, obviously you mentioned they've been in poor form. I think it's going to be really important to get a big win against Frankfurt, and then hopefully maybe qualify for top 8. I know it's looking really unlikely right now, but hopefully there's a possibility that we can get into the top 8 of the Champions League. But also just like a rival watch, Atletico Madrid did lose 1-0 to Athletic Bilbao, who honestly have not looked good either. And yeah, that's really shocking because I thought Atletico would easily win this game at least like 2-0 or something, but they did lose 1-0. So yeah, honestly, this might be a drop off in form for them as well. And I think we can move on. I think that wraps up to our Barca segment. So we can move on to our Chelsea segment. So, Haytham, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello. Hi, Dishan. Hi, Brajesh. Thank you so much for having me onto this podcast. I'm Haytham. So yeah, let's just quickly get into the Chelsea versus Bournemouth game. So just immediately looking at it, we started off with a very strong lineup compared to the last game versus Leeds. We started off with a very strong backline of Gusto, Chalobah, Fofana, and Cucurella. This would honestly be our starting backline. And again, Sanchez and net, this would be our starting backline considering all of our injuries and current form. The midfield of James and Enzo was amazing as well. and then Neto, Palmer, Garnacho. This is the first game Palmer's back for like an actual starting 11. So it was amazing to see him. I'll get back into that in a bit. And then Liam Delap started, although he did get injured and he had to get off for Marcuyu. So just overall, right off the bat, this game was extremely, in the beginning, it was extremely one-sided. Bournemouth immediately got a goal in the first, I think it was the first 3 minutes, but it was ruled offside just barely. So already they were just knocking on the door for Chelsea. It was a very close game. If I'm not mistaken, Bournemouth in the beginning had like almost 4 shots in like the first 10 minutes. They had like almost 4 shots on target, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong for that, but they were basically like knocking on Sanchez's, like on the net too. There were like 2 times where Sanchez had to make an amazing save. I think it was the 45th minute. We were like straight down the line, and Sanchez almost dove the wrong way. So again, Bournemouth, they weren't like coming around just like playing passive game. They were also like really, really well when it came to taking their chances. Even looking at the statistics, Bournemouth like literally only had 1 point in their last 5 games, so they were already in poor form. They haven't won a single of their last 5 games. So overall, I think Maresca came into this game thinking it would be I wouldn't say easy 3 points, but he definitely did think and make the same mistakes he made for Leeds, thinking it was going to be an easy game rather than just going all out. Because in the beginning, even with all that pressure, our players were starting to look a little bit like lenient, especially Enzo Fernandez. There were times where he was caught like a little out of position, which does make sense as he is used to players like Moises Caicedo covering for him in that aspect, as they work so well hand in hand. But Chelsea literally only created like I think 0.88 xg compared to like the usual 1.35 xg. So yeah, we weren't doing as well when it came to taking our chances as well, and like we literally didn't win. I'm pretty sure. Well, we didn't win a corner all game. We didn't even have any set pieces, which is what we're really good at as well. We started improving our set pieces this game. So it was really a more so end-to-end type game. And this honestly was a very, very sad tie. Again, I'm happy it was a clean sheet rather than us like tanking and like goal differences or anything. But it was just an overall bad game for the most half. If I had to give praise to some players, my top 3 honestly this game would be Reece James, Malo Gusto, and Wesley Fofana. It's not talked about enough how much Wesley Fofana is the hero of our backline. Since Levi Colwill got injured, especially, you know what, it's not even going to go over like past games, just looking at this game, Fofana had 12 clearances, 12 major clearances. He made 7 recoveries for the ball back. He won the most duels of this game, which was 12. It was already crazy to think about. And he made 28 very well progressive passes. Like, they weren't just average, like buck average side passes and stuff. They were like 28 real good passes. So when we look at our players and we look at the talents we have, it's mainly just been Fofana that's like been our certified best center back this season. You can make a case for Chalobah as well, but he has been making silly mistakes. Well, that was mainly like in the beginning, the first half of the season. He has improved a lot now, which I can confidently say he's been honestly another top 2 center back within our team. But overall, going back on that back line, moving on from the praise from Fofana, Reece James and Gusto don't get like appreciated enough within this team. I think Gusto and James both had equally the same amount of tackles this game, which was 4. Again, that was the most out of anyone this game. And Malo Gusto, I'm pretty sure, I forgot the exact time it was in the game, but he made a very, very important tackle, like a last-minute tackle, to save Chelsea from literally getting scored on. I forgot the play. I don't remember if it was Semenyo or Kluivert, but it was a really, really well-done tackle. It couldn't have been any more perfect, because if it was messed up, it would have been a penalty and a sending off. So I had to give credits to Gusto on that regard. And Reece James this game was just phenomenal. Defensively, he was a rock. He won 4 important tackles that were much needed, especially because those were like tackles that could have started a great counter. His passing this game, specifically his crossing, wasn't the best. Again, we didn't really have any set pieces to go off, which is another one of his specialities. So it's kind of hard, especially with Bournemouth doing their low/mid block. we didn't really have players who were up to par with that. Like Neto and Garnacho this game, they were more so focused on trying to make those runs in behind, but they didn't really have the space or like more so the area to do that. And again, Liam Delap this game, I don't want to be the one to say it, but he is not looking like the striker that we all thought we would be signing. Again, I've always been Liam Delap enthusiast, but this game he was just very woeful. Majority he did do good on some dribbles, but then there were times where he would just make inconsistent passes and just like inconsistent plays, especially with his runs. So it was a nice refresher seeing Mark Gui get on. He was very, very physical, but there was a time where I think it was Malo Gusto played a really nice pass up ahead of him, but he just had a horrible touch to it. And again, if he made that correct touch, he definitely could have scored that. So it was mainly just Chelsea like more so lacking from having a proper number 9. We have Mark Gui, who's very like inconsistent. Again, he's not really prem proven. He's still really young. He's only 19. Then we have Liam Delap, who's just been poor recently. I think he hasn't really made much of a contribution to Chelsea. And again, there's Drought Pedro. As amazing as he is, he's not a prolific number 9. He's not one of those players that you expect to shoot first and make those like dangerous attempts as a number 9. He's one of those false 9s, almost like strictly a cam. And that's why he, especially when you look at the games in the Club World Cup in the beginning of the season, he played so well having a player like Cole Palmer where they could just do those in-between plays between them and also help out with the wingers and players like Enzo Fernandez box crashing. So overall, just looking at the game, it was very, very dull on Chelsea's half because we did have a lot of possession. We had an XG of 0.92, which is honestly kind of crazy how we didn't take our chances. But again, it could have been worse as Bournemouth literally had an expected goal and a half. They almost had an XG of 1.50, which was insane. They had 13 shots, a lot more shots than us. A lot of them were on target as well, and they had an extremely big chance. Again, that was when Gusto made that tackle. So overall, this game wasn't really what we turned out to expect. And there were some, in my opinion, there were some questions like, again, why Acheampong isn't getting any minutes at all. We've seen him time and time again, every single time he plays, he just plays way more like better than his age group. He just literally, every single time he hops on the field, he just looks super, super experienced. But again, it was a big question on Maresca's part on why he isn't playing Acheampong. He's praised him time and time again. But again, he does play some inconsistent and like poor informed players such as Tosin and sometimes Chalobah. When instead, I think our strongest center back pairing would be Wesley Fofana and Acheampong until Levi Colwill comes back. But overall, that's mainly what I had to say about the game. Nothing too much to say. It's a clean sheet and a draw where we could have gained an easy 3 points and jumped up in the table. But I guess Villa and City took their chances, and now those three are in the major title race between Arsenal. So yeah, that's all I had to say.
And also, I just want to mention also with you talk about Bournemouth and their bad form, they haven't won a game since October 26th in the Prem, so they're in very bad form. And you see players like Semenyo who had a great start to the season, getting a lot of goals and assists. He started off the season with Liverpool in the opening game. He got a brace, but now he's been blanking a lot. And I was watching a bit like the second half of the Chelsea game because I was trying to see if Semenyo could score for my fantasy team, but he didn't. And I think Bournemouth looked pretty sloppy attacking wise, and like you mentioned, Chelsea's defense were able to push out Bournemouth from scoring, so I guess kudos to that. But even like looking at Chelsea's last game, versus Leeds, me and Dijon were hate watching that, right? So like the generational hate watch. Leeds winning 3-1, which was kind of an upset because Chelsea going to this game, obviously we know the Chelsea Barça result. We made a video on it and we talked about it a lot. And then the draw versus Arsenal after having the Carcio red cards, like drawing with 10 men, which is kind of impressive against Arsenal with that form. So having that Leeds game, I think kind of killed some Chelsea momentum, I'd say, because that's a pretty big loss and it hurts Chelsea's chances of even competing for the title. So and then and this draw,
I think we're like 8 points off Arsenal now, which is very, very horrible.
Yeah.
But Arsenal did drop points, as you mentioned. Villa beat Villa did beat Arsenal today, so Arsenal dropped points as well. And I feel like drawing his Bournemouth team isn't a great look at all because Bournemouth are not good form at all. So I'm not sure if how many questions it'll raise. I guess I do want to ask you quickly, like, answer it quickly. Yeah, how do you think this draw will affect the upcoming UCL game for Chelsea against Atalanta? Because both Chelsea and Atalanta are level on points right now at 10 points in the UCL, and Chelsea are guaranteed top 8 right now. So Chelsea have to obviously fight for every game to win to, like, stay in top 8. So, like, do you think the Leeds loss and even the Bournemouth draw, like, to motivate this team more going to UCL, or?
I
Yeah, hey,
honestly think,
just before you answer, I just wanted to say like obviously this game with Bournemouth, it was pretty disappointing to see because as Burjesh mentioned, like Bournemouth have been in poor form. And looking at this lineup that Chelsea played, it looks like one of your best 11s at the moment. Obviously, Palmer back in the lineup, so I did expect him to do a bit more. Obviously, he just came back, but in general, I think this game was pretty disappointing from a Chelsea perspective because you guys did have a lot of momentum. Obviously, we didn't cover Chelsea a lot after the Barca UCL game where you guys won. But since that, obviously, Burjesh mentioned you guys celebrated your 1-1 draw against Arsenal. And then you guys had a disappointing loss against Leeds. Honestly, that Tanaka goal was really good. But I think overall, yeah, Chelsea have been like slumping into poor form. So hopefully, I mean, for you guys start picking up form because I guess dropping points in like this stage of the season, I think is going to be really impactful for overall. I think right now, obviously, like Arsenal and City seem like the main two contenders for the Premier League this season, but Chelsea, like a couple weeks ago, were also like high contenders. So, I mean, if you guys do start picking up form in the part of the season, like I guess it's gonna be important for you guys. But yeah, just let me know like what are your thoughts on like why you guys are starting to drop points and losing form
yeah,
suddenly.
no, I'll answer all those questions. I just wanted to start off first with what Brijesh first mentioned and about the Semenyo situation. Oh, yeah, no. Semenyo, I personally thought in that game, even going into it, I definitely thought Semenyo's purple patch was over because in the Prem, the last time he got GA was all the way in like the beginning of October. So it's been 2 months now since he's had any goal or assist. In this game, he did bag an assist for that offside goal, but again, it was ruled off. And ever since then, he was knocking on the door for Chelsea, but just nothing could click, nothing could happen. So I just wanted to mention that. Again, yeah, today's game, it was amazing with the defense. But this is my only like real issue with Chelsea. Whenever we have an amazing game defensively, it doesn't equate to that offensively. But whenever we have a great game offensively, we start to look very, very poor defensively. Again, there was only one exception to that, which was against Barcelona. But other than that, every single time we had a good game defensively, it was just really, really poor offensively. And whenever we had a good game offensively, we would either be making very, very terrible mistakes defensively. So yeah, that really equated to the Leeds game as well because we were doing really well offensively for the most while until those two big errors by Tosin, which led to that like loss. But going into that the UCL game you mentioned against Atalanta, I can't really say much about Atalanta because I don't know much about them. I was looking at the Serie A table. I noticed that they lost to the team they played, and I did check their form. They did win 3 back-to-back games before today. Other than that, they've been in like more so poor form. They've just been drawing like a huge draw streak. I don't think they won a game in like a long, long time during that little spell. And I don't think they really faced like any major teams. But looking into Chelsea's team and how we compare it to more so like I'd say tactical and like very very strong teams, specifically like Serie A teams, I do think this Chelsea team will do very good compared to I have really high hopes for this team. Again, Palmer is back. Caicedo will be back again because his red doesn't equate to the UCL, it's only in the Prem. So it would be very, very great to see our big three midfield, which is that of Palmer, Caicedo, and Enzo, back. And we get to see João Pedro with his link-ups with Palmer. So again, this is the first time in a while we have our strongest... I think this will, against Atalanta, this will possibly be our strongest 11 this season. Just missing the names of Lavia and Colwell, though. But yeah, I think this Atalanta game will be very, very great. Again, It's unfortunate though that Reece James and Malo Gusto can't play at the same time because Palmer will be back. Okay, to be fair, I don't know if Palmer will be an instant lock starter. He more so was like an experience today against Bournemouth. Again, he was really, really well. I noticed that you said like Palmer, he wasn't like to his best, which I do agree. Again, he did come back from an injury, so it wasn't like that brilliant world class Palmer that we saw. It was more so Palmer just like easing right back into the Prem. He did make some shaky long ball passes, but overall, he was just amazing this game. He took one shot. Again, it was a shot on target. It was a great save by Petrovic, the ex-Chelsea keeper. I think Palmer, yeah, he won almost every single dribble he took against the team. Every single duel that he faced, I'm pretty sure he won almost every single one of them. So Palmer wasn't poor this game. It was more so the offense that just didn't click today. No attack, nothing could possibly like confidently say, oh yeah, this is gonna be a goal. This is gonna look like a goal. Every single pass, it looked shaky. Like it wasn't 100% lead. Sorry, it wasn't 100% aimed at the player's feet. Every single cross, again, the players like Garnacho and Neto had to run really, really far to just claim it. And a lot of the times, the plays were just immediately intercepted and cleared out by Bournemouth in their low/mid block. So just equating that into the Atalanta game, I don't think Atalanta is that type of team. They like to play tactically, and they do like I have noticed Atalanta. I wouldn't say again, I'm not too like keen on this team. I don't really watch any of their games to be honest. I know a few of their players like Zappacosta, Lookman, and their backline player. I think it was Hayed. So I do know a few of their players, especially their midfielder Ederson. Other than that, I do know that they like to play tactically. Lookman, I wouldn't say much about him. I can't say I know much about his current form. I do know that he has been like decent for Atalanta. I think he got 2 goals in like the last 3 games he played. That's all I really know. Other than that, I do think Chelsea confidently win in this type of game.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, like, honestly, this recent form for Chelsea kind of reminds me of last season, where like
Mm-hmm.
journalists were asking Maresca, like, "Do you guys think you're serious title contenders?" And he was like, "No, not really." And then, like, I guess you guys started losing form, and then end up finishing fourth in the Prem. So I just wanted to ask, what are your realistic predictions for how you guys finish up in the Prem and UCL this season?
Yeah, I definitely have seen a lot of Chelsea fans specifically say, "Oh, we're in a title race. We're in a title race." Even going into the season, we saw Maresca and Luco, the owners. Their entire goal was again try to finish higher than top 4. I don't think again. The last season was just the first like season like in this proper plan. Like the whole rebuild really just started. The owners came in. Maresca came in. That was his first season. I honestly thought it was a very high success winning a major trophy like the Club World Cup, becoming world champions, and even the Conference League. That was a really, really nice addition as well because, again, Chelsea did become the only team to win every major tournament, or sorry, win every major trophy possible for them. So looking into this season, I do think Chelsea probably finish, I believe, second or third. The only reason why I'm saying second or third is due to the fact that Aston Villa, as amazing they are in the Prem right now, when we looked at the beginning of their season, they hadn't won a single of I'm pretty sure it was their first 5 games. Like they were facing relegation. A lot of people wrote Aston Villa off this season. So I'm gonna say a hot take. I do think they're in like a purple patch right now. Same thing with City and Everton. I don't think this is something that's gonna last very long. And again, Chelsea haven't had their like best 11 this entire season. We've had a lot of our best players injured, and again, we are missing a lot of good players. Like I think for the last 2 games, Leeds and Bournemouth. No, I know for Leeds and Bournemouth, we were missing our best player this season. Well, in my opinion, our like second best, or if not our best player this season, Caicedo. Chelsea do look lost without him, especially looking into this Bournemouth game. Enzo Fernandez, when he was playing, I think he took a shot that was like he was like 25 feet out. He took a shot instead of making those passes to Esteval on the wing or Neto even. Like he was making some like very like interesting choices, and we literally saw like the counters, or not counters, but we literally saw how much Bournemouth capitalized on that and Enzo being out of position. And we noticed now looking at it how much Caicedo really affects this team because as soon as something like that were to happen, Caicedo would be hot on their tail and immediately try to recover that ball back, or we would get possession back almost immediately and try to restart that all over again. but because we didn't have that form like Caicedo in there, and again, Reece James, as immaculate as he was, he's not as quick and as dominant as the duels to duels as he is like Caicedo. Because again, this isn't Reece James's like first position. He's playing almost out of position. He's just had to learn a whole new position to make in shift from Cole Palmer and Caicedo being out. So if looking at that, yeah, our form again has been really, really poor. But right after this Atalanta game in the Champions League, I think this will boost a lot of like the tension within the locker room and the tension between Maresca and our players, because we would be gaining back Caicedo. Palmer probably fully reintegrates back into this team. And even by January, we have names like Colwell back. A lot of players that are injured currently, like Lavia and maybe even Asugo, they would be back after winter break. So it'd be nice to see like our team fully recuperated and back. And it's not like we have a really, really hard fixture going into the break. And because looking at our last season, you mentioned we were really, really poor in December. I think we lost both our fixtures towards Ipswich. We were losing some really, really easy games. And I don't think it's going to be a repeat of last season. But there are games where I do have worries, such as the City game and the Newcastle game. But other than that, I do think that Chelsea can confidently win majority of the games as soon as Caicedo and Palmer are like fully back and ready.
Yeah, you mentioned Aston Villa. I just find it really surprising that they're only 3 points behind Arsenal and 1 point behind City. They're in third at 30 points. Obviously, they beat both the top two teams, which is I think Unai Emery has gotten the best out of his team in those big games. But I do feel like this Prem season, I think it's really open. Like he gives a lot of hope for other teams to finish in the European spots because of how poor teams like Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle, honestly, and United have been. I think
Mm-hmm.
teams like Villa, I think Sunderland honestly have a big chance to finish in the European spots. So it is
Mm-hmm.
going to be interesting to see how the season ends up for obviously the Prem and specifically Chelsea and you guys. But Burgess, do you have any other questions for Haytham?
Um, I mean, okay, I do want to talk about the Prem because I think it's at a very interesting state right now because before this week, I mean, even like 2 weeks ago, Arsenal looked very comfortable. Like, obviously, like it's still kind of early to determine a winner for the Prem, but Arsenal are looking very comfortable and they're looking like a very good team. But then, today I even predicted Villa would beat Arsenal. I thought because I knew that Villa were in very good form going into this. Obviously, at the start, Villa were not looking that good, and there were like a lot of concerns, I guess. But Villa were able to pick up the form and they're performing very good. I'm not sure how they're performing in the European. I forgot they're in the Europa League, but
Villa, yeah, they're in Europa
I'm
and
not
they've
sure how
already
their form is. I think they dropped some points. I'm not too sure, but I can't say too much about that. I
in
can check
Europa.
that.
No, they're top. They're top
Yeah,
three.
they're third. They have a loss, but they have 4 wins. So yeah, they are looking pretty good in
They
the
have
Europa League
they have
actually.
equal amount of points as Lyon. They're all
Yeah,
three top three teams are sitting at 12
yeah,
points.
yeah. So yeah, I mean Batiste is fifth, 11 points. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting. And yeah, ours. I mean, I think even like someone like Watkins he was blanking a lot in the early games, and he's still not too like not scoring so much. He did get a brace in his last game. I forgot against who Villa played, but he got a brace. I'm pretty sure.
It was against
Against
Brighton. The
Brighton,
Prem.
yeah, Brighton. And even looking at some like Malen actually has like I think 4 goals this season in the Prem. Rogers, I think Rogers also is like I think he's one of the big Villa players.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's been doing too crazy on the goal contribution sheet. He does get some assists. John McGinn also is another huge player. I mean, we know that he's going to play with Scotland in the World Cup, and I saw his tweet about that
Oh,
because
he
his
stepped
group
up
is
massively he's almost like the Mikel Mourinho type, but as like a winger, because he's mainly a midfielder. But when Aston Villa need it most, he's always producing those GA, or he's always making those like basically free assists for Villa at times.
yeah, he's a very good player. So yeah, I think Villa's a very interesting team in the Prem right now. Definitely a team to watch out for. City, I mean, yeah, City have been winning as well. So yeah, City are definitely also like gonna creep up. They're only 2 points behind Arsenal now. And
Mhm.
Arsenal, Arsenal's been an interesting. I remember Madav told me that Arsenal's the best team. I was like, if Villa beat Arsenal, I'll raise some questions. And I mean, to be fair, Villa did score a late winner to win the game. So I mean, maybe
Oh, and
Arsenal are like right now still the best team in the world just because of that Bayern performance. I mean, I would like to see Arsenal play
connections.
teams like PSG and Barca late in the UCL just to see like how that works out.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't have any questions. I just think, yeah, I think Chelsea are a very interesting team right now because I think Chelsea definitely have some big performances. You know, the Barca game is probably their best and big performance. So, I mean, yeah, but then losing to like team like Leeds and drawing to a poor form Bournemouth, I think it's just not a good look. I think it shows a lot of inconsistency, as you mentioned as well. Like Chelsea are kind of that inconsistent spot. Palmer returning is definitely very big for Chelsea. You know, Palmer's obviously a very good player. I'm really curious to see how his season goes. You're coming off, he's been injured for like a while, so he's trying to adjust into the season. And he will be playing some UCL football as well. So I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I
And I
wonder to see how
also,
Chelsea will do in the UCL. Yeah.
yeah, so I just wanted to mention when you talked about that Aston Villa and Arsenal thing, I think you probably remember this was like a really big discussion in the Premier League in the early seasons. How Arsenal this season, their defense is close enough to beat that Chelsea record of only conceding 15 goals. What are your thoughts on that so far? So I just wanted to ask you about that.
I said they wouldn't, and they're not going to. It seems because
Yeah,
they have
sitting
been
at
seeding.
9 conceded goals, and it's not even like halfway through the season yet.
Yeah, I
Almost.
think that's a very impressive record by Chelsea. You know that Chelsea record, Mourinho's Chelsea. So I mean, I don't think in the near term future any team will break that. I think that record is just very It's one of those hard records to beat. It's like the Messi calendar year record. That's like very hard to beat. So I mean, yeah, I mean, especially with the way the premise right now, like a lot of teams are kind of attacking as well. So teams do concede, teams do drop points, and also yeah, I think
Mhm.
Chelsea have the record safe for now. And I mean, yeah, I'm actually very surprised that Everton are fifth on the table right now. I mean, I guess some people overlook Everton. I kind of overlooked Everton. I know
Oh,
they have
there's
some very
one player
responsible
that's
good
like
players.
extremely
Yeah.
balling out for them. Dewsbury Hall. I think he was just sold to Everton this season, and my God, he's been in an insane form recently. I think in his last 3 games, he has 3 GA. Oh, sorry, no, in his last 5 games, he has 4 GA. He just didn't get anything during Bournemouth, but he walked away with a clean sheet. And yeah, imagine a midfielder, like a midfielder who plays in central, bagging all those goals and assists and coming in clutch when it's most needed. He's been in insane form currently, him and Grealish.
And
I'm
you
with
guys
you.
are playing them next, so yeah, keep an eye on that, I guess.
Yeah, that's an interesting game to talk about, honestly, in the Prem.
And even NDI is also very good. And you mentioned Grealish. Grealish is on loan, and he's very good as well. So I mean, yeah, the Prem's interesting. Liverpool also. We can talk. I mean, if you want to talk about Liverpool, Liverpool did draw to Leeds today. Leeds, yeah, it's pretty insane. And
Yeah.
we saw that Salah statement today as well. Talking
Mm-hmm.
about issues with slot, and Alexander Isak was also benched today with Salah. So I think Liverpool are not in a good spot in the Prem right now. So I think I guess that if anything that helps Chelsea, I guess in the Prem, because Liverpool
Mm-hmm.
obviously won the league last season and they were going into the season as the favorites after signing Wirtz, Isak, and a bunch of other signings like important signings like Frimpong, Kirkez, and I'm not sure if they signed anyone else too important. I mean, I don't think so. It's not that
Um.
relevant.
Yeah, they mainly only
They signed that one
signed
center back. I forgot his name.
fullbacks. Pardon?
They signed a center back. I forgot his
Yeah,
name.
they signed Leone from Juventus.
Yes.
Mm.
And they were close against Gehi, but yeah, yeah, Liverpool are eighth, and they have been very bad form. So
Yeah,
I
they
think
spent
that
half a
opens up the
billion
Prem a
this
lot
season.
more. Yeah.
They spent
Wait,
like almost half,
Ekatike. I forgot
yeah,
Ekatike. Ekatike got a brace
half
today
a
as well.
billion this season, and they've only shockingly started like fumbling. They've started dropping to mid-table levels now. They're struggling against really big teams. Again, kudos to Gravenberch, Sabosla, and Ekatike. They've been honestly Liverpool's bright spot throughout this entire season. They've been highlighted and saved to Liverpool time and time again, especially in big games. But it looks like that slot machine, the gambling is finally like slowing down.
And also, I'm not sure like at what point do you give more, I guess, concern to like the players themselves, because I think the players themselves aren't proving that high quality like
Oh,
performances
especially
as
players like
well.
Words. Yeah, I think he's
Where
double
Salah, I think,
007 in the Prem.
yeah,
He's
because I know
four
Salah,
goals with 14
yeah,
games.
Salah said today like, he was upset with Salah not playing him, but Salah also understand that he hasn't been playing well. So I guess Salah wants to change things and like try different things. But that follow is very bad, a very bad look on Slot.
Hmm.
Because usually from what I see here, clubs and like, usually fans take the player side over the manager side. So I mean, I'm not sure if Slot will get sacked based on these like poor results. I mean, I need to check who Liverpool play in the future games.
Oh, I
So
can
they
tell you
play
that.
Inter. Inter
Yeah,
will be a very tough game away.
Inter, Tottenham, Brighton, and Wolves. I mean, after the Tottenham game, they go on like an easy run with Wolves, Leeds, and Fulham.
Are you
After
sure it's
that,
easy though? Because they just drew the Leeds
oh,
away.
true.
And Fulham, I think Fulham are still a pretty tough team. They scored 4 goals for City and almost came back. And then after
Mhm.
that, it's Arsenal. Arsenal are not an easy game, and that's at Emirates too. So yeah,
And they're
I
back
think
up
Liverpool will win
against
spot.
Burnley, and they've been struggling against low blocks this season. So it's really interesting to think about.
Yeah, do you want to say anything about Liverpool and like the solid situation maybe, or anything else about Liverpool?
And yeah, the overall Liverpool situation is like a real chaos right now. Obviously, players like Szoboszlai, Ekitike, and Gakpo, and maybe even Gravenberch have been good for them. But overall, I think just the overall squad issues. I think Slot is having trouble finding his like ideal lineup, and obviously, like the players themselves have been in poor form. Obviously, like players that they spent a lot on, players like Ekitike, wait, sorry, Isaac, Works, especially, and even Frimpong. I think, I mean, obviously he's injured right now, but I think overall he's not been like all their new signs have been disappointing so far. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the slot situation develops because honestly, if he starts losing a couple more games, I think they could honestly sack Slot early in the season because if they do continue in this type of form, you could look at Liverpool finishing like in the bottom, like below 15th or somewhere there because overall, I just think like with the money they spent and the overall investment they did into this team, especially after winning a Premier League last season, I think having such a poor season right now is just really disappointing overall. I think obviously the fans are going to develop frustration, and I think recently we mentioned Salah. There's a lot of tension between even like the players and the manager right now because he's not able to like I guess find his best lineup. He's benching players like Salah, benching players like Isaac. So I think it is going to be really interesting to see how this Liverpool situation develops. But yeah,
Yeah, and also, I mean, with the sacking, right? I mean, even if Slot gets sacked, like who would realistically come in for Liverpool? And that's what a lot of teams kind of fear when sacking the managers. Like,
yeah,
who's coming up next? I don't think United. Like, if Amber were to get sacked, who realistically could replace that? Like, who would be the manager? Like, the only name that like kind of the only link I see is like Xavi, but Xavi also mentioned that he's not gonna really play for another big European team. So I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
contradictory. But even
there's
Liverpool, I mean, I don't see Xavi coaching Liverpool. But even then, like, what
yeah.
manager is really available for Liverpool?
Also on that
um
situation, I heard some like a couple Liverpool fans honestly wanting Gerrard to come in if Liverpool if Slot gets sacked, but I doubt that's going to happen because honestly, Gerrard, I don't think he's like that ready for Liverpool at this stage. And I think again, if you invest into a manager like Gerrard, it's just another like transition period, another developmental like period. I think if it doesn't work out, you almost just waste a couple of seasons, just like kind of developing the team for Gerrard. But I do think if Liverpool want to be serious, I think they have to go like all out on a big manager soon. But I
Yeah,
do think they won't sack Slot like just yet.
yeah,
I
because you
honestly
mentioned
have
Drought, yeah. Go on.
sorry for I have like two big names in mind. I don't okay, to be fair, my first thought was immediately with Concio, the Milan's coach. I know he had like a really like small stint with I wouldn't say small, but he had a stint with Milan. He helped them win a league title. He won the super not a league title, he helped them win a league trophy, which was the Coppa Italia, and he had a long term with Porto, 7 league titles, and now he's eyeing like another big European role. Again, I do think he fits it because Milan and Liverpool, as much as people don't really say it, I do think they have similar playing style. Other than that, the only really other name I could think about, again, another Italian coach was Allegri. Now he was in poor form recently for Juventus, and I don't know if he signed with another team or even Consasio. I'm blanking on honestly if they've signed. It's been a while, but they're both good defensively and in progressive plays. I do think both of them will fit the job. I don't think a player like Xavi or Zidane would work because Zidane's trying to look internationally and Xavi's trying to more so work on like a smaller club. Really, the only other big name in the market would be Jurgen Klopp, but I doubt he'd want to go back to Liverpool considering he just left.
He retired basically. He said, but
Yeah. I think I
and
just wanted to quickly mention. Did you mention who was your first manager that you mentioned, Ethan?
Consasia. I keep
Oh, okay.
pronouncing his name. The Milan keeper. Sorry, not keeper. The Milan manager.
the ex
Okay, and
Milan man
then
last season.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
and you also mentioned Allegri. I
Allegri.
think did you mention like do you mean someone else because Allegri just signed for Milan and I think he's been having a great season at Milan. Like he could be top of the league so far.
Oh, he did sign. Okay, yeah. Then I was honestly thinking like before he signed with I didn't even realize he signed with Inter. Oh wow.
I
How
think
much?
a
No,
name
AC
that
Milan.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh my god, I'm blanking. Oh, he signed with them in May, was it? No, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm far behind. I'm far behind on that. Oh, that's looking stupid on my part.
I was gonna mention a name that I think is getting a lot of interest right now is Cesc Fabregas. The Como coach right now. I mean, I saw it like from like Barca, like after like Flick's time is kind of limited, so I think a lot of people wanted Cesc Fabregas as a manager after. But
Yeah.
I can honestly see him being a target from other clubs right now, because I mean he is a good manager though. Como did lose 4-0, I think to Inter today or something.
Yeah, today. It was today.
Yeah, and then he had a quote about like he's fine losing this way, and like I remember seeing a funny tweet from I think a United fan saying like keep him, keep him. But I think he's definitely a good manager, and I think possibly Liverpool might target him. I'm not too sure, but maybe Liverpool can also probably try to steal a coach from the Prem. I'm not sure who exactly would go, but there's an opportunity I guess to take someone from the Prem. So yeah.
Not even just Prem, like English coaches such as Southgate. He's been right now. I don't know if he would like possibly fit Liverpool structure, but he has worked with a lot of Liverpool players. He's been in and out with like a lot of the squad members, especially the English ones. So
It's a shout for sure, yeah.
Mhm.
It's just a lot of people have problems with like Southgate's tactics. Like, before Amarim, United were looking to get Southgate was definitely a possibility, but it didn't. I mean, I think Amarim was a better choice, and I don't know. I don't see Liverpool going.
Was he though? Was he?
Yeah,
And
Amarim's
Southgate,
been
I think yeah, because I think
another topic.
Amarim has definitely done good in big games, and that Europa League run. I think the
Wait,
league. What? Wait, what?
nothing. Europa League you can hold second place, bro.
I mean,
Yeah, we can
the
talk
run
about
was very
Europe.
good. I think some very good performances against Bilbao, Lyon, that comeback versus Lyon, the Rangers. I mean, United definitely had a very bad season last season. It was like very bad in the Prem. I think Amram didn't do that good at all. He did have some the City game, City win obviously was pretty huge. Even this season, I think United's just been very silly and kind of dropping like silly points. Because if United were like I think more serious, I think United would be like top 4 right now, maybe even competing for the
Yeah.
title because there's lots
I
of
don't know
silly
about that. I don't know about that because you guys did pick up form like part of the season, but I think recently, like recent weeks, you started dropping off again. But I do think for United, like if they're serious, I think they do sack Amram as soon as possible. I think someone like, I mean, obviously Javi's not really like, I guess realistic. I think someone like an Iraola or like even if like Eddie Howe is available, possibly that could be an interesting signing appointment for United. But yeah, I don't think United's going to really do anything too much this season. I think their main goal was maybe to qualify for European spots, but it's kind of looking unlikely so far.
I mean, it's true. I think the in the Prem, the like point difference between like first and like let me check, but it's very close between like a lot of the teams. Like for example, if you look at like 4th place Chelsea to 14th place Brentford, that's a 6-point difference. That's 2 games, and the season is not even halfway finished yet. I mean, it's close to halfway, but it's not halfway finished. So a lot can happen in those weeks. So, I mean, United can definitely like United are only 3 points off of Chelsea. Chelsea are fourth. So, I mean, if United can like go on a great run, like for example, a 2022 23 Ten Hag run, United end up third that season and got the UCL spot and won the EFL Cup. So United are out of that competition recently. No, the Grimsley lost, but
Mm.
FA Cup United can probably compete for, and I think the premise is very interesting. I think every team has a chance of qualifying for a European spot and like making a statement of the season. So I mean, I just very interesting. Honestly, I think it's very exciting for the Prem. I think even like I just want to mention quickly, it's a bit of a detour, but with LaLiga, I'm actually very impressed with Villarreal's form. I think Villarreal, honestly, with the way Madrid are playing, I think Villarreal can easily overtake Madrid on the table, just by the way both teams are playing. Honestly,
Yeah, I just think like you just mentioned Villarreal. I think they have been really good in La Liga, but Champions League they lost to like Paphos and stuff. So I do think like the Champions League itself is not a possibility at all for Villarreal. But I do think La Liga they could honestly finish like even like third or maybe even second if they have a great season. But going back to United, I think it could be worrying for you guys in recent the coming upcoming weeks because soon you guys are going to lose like players like Amad Diallo and Bueno to Afcon. So honestly, like without those two players, I do think a lot of your creativity and like GA and goals do kind of drop off. So it's going to be interesting to see how Amram himself kind of deals with that. But yeah,
there's also the whole Menu situation. Like Amron hasn't been playing Menu, and I Menu is very talented. He's a academy player, and a lot of fans have a very deep connection with him. So, and then even saw Paul Scholes got very mad at Amram's like the way he's been handling like Menu, like not playing him much. And Amram had that press conference yesterday, talked about Menu and how like even though Menu started in Euros final. He was like, but it's his decision to decide if he's good for like United in certain games. I don't know. I think he has been handling those things well, and mentioned the Mbumo and Mod absence because of Afcon. I think that I think the right side will take a lot of like a big hit. I guess it'll open more room for someone like Mount to play like start, and I mean, United do have right wing backs, so like something like Dalot or Mazraoui can even play there. So it will be definitely weaker. So we'll see how Amram kind of adjusts that. So I mean, I guess I think I'm pretty interested in seeing how United do the rest of the season because United have put in some good performances as well. So I mean, I guess we should wrap up the United segment.
yeah. I mean, I think overall that's our roundup. I guess. Do you guys want to talk about anything else or?
I was quickly talk. I mean, just quickly say this. I'm actually talking about Barca's UCL game versus Frankfurt. I just want to quickly talk about a little bit of it. I'm very interested in seeing how Flick deploy like the squad because with Rooney's having a good performance, I wonder if he'll start Rooney and keep the same lineup because I think he likes keeping the same lineup sometimes. But I think Rafinha should definitely start in the UCL. I think Rafinha is one of Barca's better players and it'd be huge in the UCL. So yeah, I was wondering how that will work, and I'm very interested in seeing this Araujo. Like, the Araujo situation has been pretty bad, and even other De Jong starts because De Jong was also benched today. So I'm not sure if that was like due to Flick wanting to keep the same midfield or if De Jong didn't really want to like really ready to start. But besides that, I don't really have much to say honestly. I just saw Slaughterbeck links with Barca. I mean, who knows what happens? Yeah.
Yeah, I do think with the Frankfurt game, I think obviously we're gonna do a preview on that or like a match review. But just like looking towards that game, I think obviously I think it's gonna be interesting to see how Flick lines up because I don't know if he's gonna like I guess stick with the Lamine Yamal at the 10 position and experimenting with Rafinha. But it is gonna be interesting to see how we deal with that game because obviously at the start of this video we did mention how poor Frankfurt have been in recent form. So hopefully we do get a big win. But overall, I think we can wrap up our video there. I think obviously, guys, let us know how you guys felt about today's Barca win against Real Betis. And if you are a Chelsea fan, or you do follow Chelsea, let us know what you guys thought about recent, like the Chelsea's recent form where they lost to Leeds and drew today against Bournemouth. But yeah, I think that wraps it up. Thank you for Hatham for joining us, and I guess we'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Okay, bye.